What's going on, guys? It's your boy MurderInc here, and we got a few things to talk about. So I was, out of curiosity, scrolling through a few things, wanted to see how Raid Shadow Legends was doing overall, general curiosity, and I found out some pretty incredible things. $500 million. That's keep that in your mind. So we're going to be talking about how much money Raid has made, and the results are quite shocking. And I want to kind of break down where people think this money is coming from and the overall ideal around where mobile games get the bulk of their money. It's really hard to call Raid Shadow Legends a complete mobile game now. Since it's on Plarium Play, people can use it on the computer. It's heavily monetized, as we all know, if we are watching this. So let's get right into it. And I want to talk about a few things first. Actually, you know what? Let's go over the money stuff first. Then I'm going to explain to you why I believe a certain amount of things and why Raid is different than almost every other type of gacha game with microtransactions. So the first thing I want to ask you guys is, how much do you guys think Raid Shadow Legends makes every single month? Just give me a guess. I think it's 5 million, 10 million, 15. What are you guys thinking? So there's no real great way to figure this out, because based on the resources that are available to the public, it really only shows the mobile aspect of it. I would have no idea personally. Maybe someone in the comment section could let me know how I could figure this out. I've tried, I can't. I don't know how to see the revenue from Plarium Play, because of course it's going to be different than Apple and Android. But as I've showed in previous videos, we can determine Apple and Android. So let's go to that right now from our trusty source that I've used in the past here, which is going to be Sensor Tower. I really like Sensor Tower. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at the worldwide revenue from September 2021, just from the iTunes store. We have $8 million and 200,000 downloads. That's a lot of money, but that's just iTunes. What if we take a look at Android as well? So here we go, $14 million, 600,000 downloads worldwide. So 8 million, 14 million, $22 million from the Apple Store and Google Play. Come to think about it, this is also available on the Microsoft Store. That's a recent addition to how Raid has expanded, and this doesn't include Plarium Play, so let's just kind of fathom that for a second. And besides the fact that, what was it, 200,000 downloads, 600,000, so 800,000 downloads a month, $22 million just from the two most popular app stores on mobile gaming. And like I said, I have no way to track Plarium Play or the Microsoft Store if people are spending money and playing via that option. So this game is racking in some serious dough. But I do want to go onto a website that I found after that, because you do have to pay a premium fee to look at really in-depth analytics on Sensor Tower, and I don't, because free to play, by the way. That's a separate topic though. Let's get into this here. GameDaily.biz. I do like this article here, and this takes analytics from Sensor Tower, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't just reading just anything random here. So Raid has generated nearly 4.8 million downloads and more than $569 million in lifetime revenue. Now this was taken from, let's see, April 28th, 2021. And let's just look at this real quick. In 2020 alone, they killed it. It brought in $303.5 million. That's a lot of money. Let's just think about big numbers, huge number. It's still continuing to grow for Greg Chappell, mobile insights strategist at Sensor Tower, the website I was talking about, bringing the game to Microsoft Store. Another thing I did mention, and it's currently there, to build on the success and garner an even larger audience. So that's a lot of money here. And kind of to my point earlier and before, what I was hinting at is, if you do some analytical research on where mobile games and gacha games make their money, most of them, and most of the, I guess, professionals and strategists, analysts, they'll tell you that a lot of the money comes from whales. However, you look at the official statements Raid has said and the knowledge that you might have being in a position that I'm in, which is being in probably one of the biggest spending clans in the game, you can understand that this number is so ridiculous that it's almost impossible for whales alone to be propping up and being the majority of the income and revenue for this company. So That's all and good, but how about an example? That seems fair, right? So if I'm going to give an example, let's talk about the clan I'm in, Immortal Elite. Now this is the most elite clan in the game, and based on what I know about all of the surrounding guilds, there is no guild with more centralized spenders in it than this guild. I don't think, and I can't comment on this guild having the player that spent the most in the entire game. However, as far as the majority of spenders all in one clan together, I don't think any clan can come even relatively close to Immortal Elite overall based on what they've spent. With that being said, how much are we talking about? We're talking about realistically close to $250,000 in Immortal Elite. Now, think about the numbers we just went over. That's $250,000 lifetime, not yearly, not monthly, lifetime. So based off of the analytics we were just shown of over $500,000 by now in revenue, compared to the top consolidated group of 30 players averaging around $250,000, how can the whales be propping up this game with such a difference here? Now, if you want to think back to what I was referring to as far as the pieces of information that Plarium has brought forward on this topic, think of how many people they said maxed their Great Hall, or what their target market was and how few endgame players that Plarium claims this game has. We all know retention is rather low for this game, and they are doing everything they can, of course, to try to make the retention better so people do get to endgame, but there just aren't a lot of endgame players. I believe they said, 600 players had a max Great Hall, and even fewer than 600 were clearing all of the hard Doom Tower rotations. So just from that fact alone, it's quite clear to understand that the whales in Raid Shadow Legends aren't the ones propping the game up. Now, if you've ever watched one of those sponsored streamers for Raid Shadow Legends, you've probably seen something interesting. What they do is they call you warriors if you download the game, but there's a very specific thing you'll notice if you've ever watched a big streamer specifically, and it's something called contributors. Now, out of curiosity, I've watched quite a few raid-sponsored streamers recently, mostly the rather large ones, and they all have this contributor thing, and when they start their stream, they start going over the game. It's quite interesting and almost insane for me to see it, because so many people who are downloading the game are spending money. Now, of course, that's not a good enough metric on its own. However, considering the numbers we just went over, that over $500,000,000 made by this company, what I just showed you about the most expensive clan in the entire game as far as what they've spent, and just spread that out to all of the whales in the game, it's almost impossible, logically, if you think about it, that whales in any way, shape, or form are propping this game up. First of all, why would they be spending so much on marketing and kind of have this really low retention if everything was aimed at whales? Why would there be an incredible lack of endgame content, which I'm pretty sure we all know about, especially a dupe system taking 2 years before it's announced, if the game was targeting endgame players to spend copious amounts of money? So with all that being said, I think it's pretty clear to see that this game is making a killing off of players who are trying the game out. Maybe they make it 90 days, 120 days, and they're spending $5 here, $10 here. Think about the amount of downloads we were just talking about. 800,000 downloads in a month between Apple Store and iTunes Store. Even if those players are spending $1 each, that's $800,000. Now, of course, that number is significantly lower than the 22 million they're bringing in on those two stores together, and it's not going to count all of the already active users. And in case people are curious, I do have that number too. In that same post I was showing you, it did say that the daily average users for Raid Shadow Legends were about 1 million daily active users per day, which surprisingly is a lot lower than it used to be, kind of as many people probably understand, because the game was definitely a lot more popular in 2020, but it is slowly continuing to grow, and every time new content does release, we do get a rather large increase in the daily active users. So that is the good news, but this game's making some serious money. Now, I know a lot of people, when they're going to hear this, they're going to say, why isn't the game perfect? Currently, there are a little bit of server issues. We dealt with some of them yesterday or the day before, whenever it was. Clan Boss wasn't working. Clan versus Clan disappeared for a while. That was definitely an issue. They have lots to do, but I know a lot of people complain, and after seeing something like this, they're going to be like, if Plarium is making so much money, why are there so many issues? I don't have those answers. I mean, of course, whenever I tell you guys revenue like that, Plarium has tons of costs. They spend, without a doubt, an arm and a leg on their advertising. I don't think anyone can argue against that point. They have personnel, they have licensing to pay, all of this stuff. That's not my field of expertise. I haven't done any research in that, so I couldn't even begin to give you guys an estimate as to how much they have to pay for everything they're putting into this game. People can speculate, oh, they're spending nothing on the game itself, this, that. Like I said, that's not my place because I haven't done the research. Maybe I could do something like that. If you guys are interested, you can let me know in the comment section. If you want me to do some research so we can actually see how much money on average this game spends for upkeep, advertising, all of that things. That does sound pretty interesting to me, but I'll let you guys decide. Smash the like button, let me know if you're interested in a topic like that. So overall, that's pretty much going to conclude this video. What do you guys think? Were you as shocked as I was? $500 million is a substantial amount of money. I don't think anyone's going to debate that. Were you expecting that? Were you expecting the monthly amount that I did show you? What about the downloads? Were you shocked by that at all? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. Alright guys, that's going to conclude my video. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next video, and I will see you all in the next upload.